So the people who brought to you the Book of Monsters, which was like a Necronomicon, Lovecraftian, monsterific, splatterama sort of horror comedy, well, they're back with a new movie, and it's more Lovecraftian and more splattery. Let's get into it. What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void. My name is Alex, and today we're going to be doing a spoiler-free review of How to Kill Monsters. And this is by the same directors who did Book of Monsters, which Stuart Spark did the movie for that one, and he's back with Paul Butler to team up and write a crazy, splatterific film for this one as well. So what is it all about? Well, the sole survivor of this massacre that happens, she is found with a chainsaw in her hand walking out of a murder scene, essentially, to the cops. And after being questioned about what happened at this party and being blamed, a group of cops and a group of lawbreakers have to defend the entire police station against an onslaught of Lovecraftian nightmares, or silly monsters. But who cares, right? They're from another dimension, and that's all I really need to hear. But yeah, this is a silly, splatterific, gore-filled movie that, you know, is probably more gore-filled than it is funny. And I had that same issue with the first movie. Even though I still liked it and I had a fun experience, it wasn't like overly, exuberantly funny in any particular moments. There was some funny moments that I did laugh, but it was definitely low on the comedy and high on the gore and silliness. This is definitely an indie film for people who are into gore and just want to have a good time. You don't need to pay too close of attention, but there is some fun, rewarding characters in the movie that they are all very different from one another, and they follow some sort of tropes that you would see in some old 80s films where, you know, one person is like picked on and then they become a hero, or one person isn't very good at their job but they become a hero. Those kind of tropes are usually pretty present in this, but I think that's okay when you're doing sort of a spoofy kind of comedy. And if you look at their Kickstarter, you can kind of see like what their drawings were and what they kind of made in the movie. The creatures in the movie come out a little bit darker than what they were kind of going for in the actual practical world that they were making for this movie. They're comparing the comedy to like a British Americanized style comedy, so something in the vein of like Hot Fuzz, although I don't know that that necessarily meets the match right there 100%, but there is definitely a couple of marks in the movie that do point to that.
Bob, what about Bob?
You're standing on him!
Oh,
So there's kind of a similar formula going on with this monster thing. I mean, obviously we got Book of Monsters, which is kind of like the Necronomicon. We've got a sort of another weapon that's in here called some sort of eldritch sword that they use in this movie to kind of as a plot device as well, because there's like a sort of code or something to unlock this other dimension. And they both kind of start similar. You know, there's a party, a thing happens, and craziness ensues. Both of these movies start off with a lot of blood and gore, so, you know, you get that. And then there's like sort of like telling you what's going on with the characters. And of course, the monsters start piling up into the ultra bloody finale. Also, they have a lot of the actors return for different roles in this movie, so it's not like a sequel, but it feels like they just like the monster universe. But we have Lindsay Crane returning along with a couple other people who she plays this girl Jamie in the movie. And in Book of Monsters, she was also kind of the main star in that movie, and she wielded a chainsaw. So there's a little bit of, you know, nostalgia for both of those movies together. Even if they're completely separate in stories and ideas, they still kind of fill the screen in the same manner with the same type of humor and the same type of blood. If you like this movie, I would highly recommend you go back and check that one out, because this one is definitely going to be for a specific type of audience who really doesn't care too much about the acting, doesn't really mind some bad jokes that are thrown in the film, a lot of times intentionally. But, you know, it's just a fun movie. It's meant to just kind of be fast food for the night, you know? You look forward to it because you don't have to like cook it, you don't have to get crazy about it. and at least they have really good tasty meat, which the gore in this film, I would say, is the meatiest portion of the film, and it is delicious. There is a lot of creatures. I love monsters and creatures, and they put a really good mix of like five different creatures in the film. They do a really cool kind of creative job with that, with the budget that they had. And just like Book of Monsters, which was raised on a Kickstarter fund, this was also, and they raised like $38,000 to get this movie started. I think they did a really good job with the amount of money that they had. Put some stuff together to make it somewhat believable. It's not exactly like these things look like the most realistic things ever, but I'll take a chainsaw wielding girl running at a monster at each other at the same time. That's pretty cool to me. They're just trying to have a good time here, and I have to admire that in some regards. Obviously, there's a lot of flaws to it, but it's more about getting it done and being creative. And I think these people are very creative, and at least they know the value of having a monster on the screen that you can physically see in front of you instead of using some sort of CGI. They will never do that to you. Even if they use CGI for the environments and stuff, which they really kind of up their game on the special effects in this movie, not just practical. For the look and feel of this movie, I think they did a really good job. And it's really nice to see a different setting in a police station. You know, it's been done before, but not as crazy as this, maybe. I mean, there's very few. If they had more money, which is what I said on my last review for their other movie, I feel like they could do a lot more. But they know how to make a dollar stretch and make it look good anyway, and still come out the other end with something above average. And it has a lot of heart. The actors are definitely devoted to the situation. The characters are diverse enough to kind of have your favorites and not. And, you know, they do some really out there things. And I really appreciate when filmmakers just go for it instead of worry about every little detail sometimes. Sometimes you just have to have an entertaining film and you can't worry about being the best at everything. And I think these people know their limits and kind of go for it and just want to have a good time. I'm kind of sitting at like maybe a 6 or 6.5. I can't say whether or not it's better than Book of Monsters because I did like that one and I don't remember. It's been like multiple years since I seen it, like 3 years at least. Let's just say that you're pretty safe if you enjoyed that movie. You're definitely gonna like this movie. And this one does kind of lean, again, with the Lovecraft, a little bit more on the nose Lovecraft. A lot more tentacles and things like that in this one. Hopefully I can give you the ammo that you need to know whether or not this is the movie that you want to watch. But yeah, I would love to hear what you think. Have you heard of this movie? Did you even know it was coming out? I feel like this movie has gotten less exposure than the first movie did. It's out today. You can pick it up. It came out a few days ago. So if you want to rent it and support indie films, please do. But yeah, guys, let me know what you think. Do you like these kind of movies? Is this not your thing? I mean, do you like more serious movies? Are you more acceptable with comedies? I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of this. But let me know in the comment section down below. And if you enjoyed this video, please share it with someone that you love. And of course, hit the like and subscribe button if you've never been here before. Because, you know, we do this a lot. But thanks for coming by. And as always, long live the void.